We should not be hungry on this earth. We should not let anybody starving to death on this earth, because our planet Earth is so fertile. We have very good soil. We have a lot of water. We have a lot of plants and animals. We can develop the bad soil into good soil. But why food crisis happen? Why so many crises happen? For example, like in Venezuela or in Sri Lanka. Venezuela used to have a lot of petroleum. They have good soil, they have good water. Their climate is quite like in Thailand. They can grow so much. In Sri Lanka it's the same. Sri Lanka have very good soil, have a lot of biodiversity there, a lot of fish, a lot of good soil, good plants. Why economics collapse? Why people don't have food to eat? How can we let this thing happen on this earth? So, if we look at the main problem, we can see that it's because of the bad policy of the government that do promote popularization policy. They give money to people so much. And then the main thing is they did not learn their own wisdom. They did not practice their skill, the skill of using the body, skill of self-reliance. That's what we ignore it. We believe in civilization. We believe in development. We believe in technology. We believe in money system. It's okay to believe in those things. There's no problem with that. It's okay. We're exciting with technology. We're exciting with metaverse. But we need to come back and think about, are we eating? So if we're still eating, we need to think about how to grow food. We need to think about our food, where it's come from. So when we focus on making money, but we ignore food, we expect that we're going to use money to buy food from somewhere else only. And everybody everywhere in the world think the same way. And who's going to grow food? So many countries who have good land, good soil, they did not pay much attention on farming or agriculture at all. They just focus on industrial, focus on business in something else that they can make more money, more income. So from what we know now is in many countries that economics collapse, like Sri Lanka now. Many villages, many local people who still maintain their self-reliant technique, self-reliant skill, they don't feel they have problem with the economics collapse in Sri Lanka. Mainly people who live in the city, who rely on money system only, but not rely on self-reliant system much. That is cause more suffering for them, because they don't know how to grow food, they don't know how to get food. When there's no food in the market, that is the problem. But for people who live in the country, they did not go to the market. They just go to their farm, they just go to their land, walk around everywhere, and the food is everywhere. So the way we train people to ignore the food, ignore self-reliant system, it make human turn to handicapped people. Even they have a good body, good. Everything's good. But we don't have anything to eat. we were trained to be specialists. We are so good in one thing only, but we don't know another thing else. That's the way we weaken our body, our life. Humans are weaker and weaker, but we call ourselves is development or civilization. We are so weak, but we call this weakness as civilization. But to spend our life in this way, to live in this kind of civilization, we have very vulnerable life, because there are so many factors that can attack us, can have big impact on us. Whatever happens, it will have a big impact on us immediately. So the lesson from many countries so far, we learned that what we are doing now is big mistake. That we learn to be specialists. We learn to ignore the self-reliant wisdom. We will have more crises. We will have more problems in the future, and more serious. And this problem is not a problem in the past, but now it will be the big problem. So when we have flooding, we have no water to drink, we have no food to eat. When it's drought, we have nothing. When the war happens, we have nothing. When economics collapse, we have nothing. So the way that politicians try to solve the problem is try to find money to give to people. That is a surface solution, superficial solution. The real solution that we have to do now is we need to come back to create our root, to make our root stronger. The roots of life is self-reliant. At least 4 basic needs: food, shelter, daily needs, and healing or medicine. This is the root of every life, every animal. They know how to take care of themselves. They know how to find food. So if we ignore this part, that means our life is very fragile. It's very vulnerable. Even we think it's civilization, but it's very vulnerable. So what we can do now is we need to come back to develop the roots. Come back to learn how to be self-reliant. So every school, every kid, they need to grow up with this technique. They need to learn how to do this thing from the beginning, before they learn to be scientists, before they learn to be doctor, before they learn to be business person. They can do anything, they can learn anything, but they need to have the good roots first. If we have no roots, that's not secure, that's not stable, because anything can blow you away anytime, anywhere. But if you have roots strong, you will be stable. You can be the best businessman. You can be the best doctor. You can be the best scientist. You can be the best engineer. It's not bad to learn this thing first. But now we learn so many things that we never use it. But we don't learn to build up our roots, to make our roots stronger. So, to prevent the crisis, the biggest crisis in the near future, all kind of crisis, I think we need to come back as soon as we can to learn how to be self-reliant. Reliant in the small level, in the family level, and think about self-reliant in the city, in the country level. How can city people rely on farmer or people who live in the country? we still have need people to work in the city. They have to work in the factory, in service work, in many things. Farmers need to rely on their work. And then those people, they cannot have time or land to do farming. They need to rely on farmers. So if we rely on each other like this, we will have less problem. We will have no crisis at all. To be self-reliant is mean not reliant on the big system, not rely on something too far away. Self-reliant means rely on ourselves, rely on our community, rely on our neighbor, rely on something that we connected easily. We can talk together easily. It's not hard. It doesn't take long time. This is the way to prevent all the crises in the future. If we don't come back to learn how to find food, how to find water, how to distill our water to drink, we will have problem in everywhere. When it's flooding, when we have flood, we have no water to drink. So that's so sad. It's funny too. You are in the water but no water to drink, because we don't know how to filter the water. We live in the most fertile area, like Sri Lanka, like Venezuela. They have very good soil, have a lot of biodiversity. There's a lot of food around, but they're starving in the middle of food. We don't want to have this thing happen on this earth. We need to solve the problem. The government will not do that, because the government, they did not think about solving the problem. They think about to digest the natural resource into money. That's the main job of the government. And they think about how to monopolize their money, the money. That's the main job. So we should not expect to get government officials to solve the problem. We need to come and solve the problem ourselves and connect together and solve the problem together. That is solution for the future.